friends of the internet. I am thrilled to be here today with the director of The Damned, Thordur Palsson. Thordur, thank you for joining me today. I know it's a busy day today. Got a lot of interviews lined up. So yeah,
nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. We're here talking about The Damned, which is your feature debut. I believe I missed it at Tribeca, so I'm glad to catch up with it. But for those who don't know, it takes place in the 19th century in a Icelandic fishing village. That's all the context I'll give for it because I think the atmosphere is 90% of the movie. But with that, my first question is, what was it like transitioning from TV shows to movies to directing a feature film?
I guess maybe the hardest thing was, well, it took me 8 years to make this film. So maybe that's not the transition from TV to film. But this kind of has been my dream project since I myself graduated from film school. And I don't know. I think the time is a little bit different. How much time you have for each scene of a TV show versus what you have for a film. Mm-hmm. Not that you have all the time in the world when you're making a film, but it is a little bit. The pace is different. You gotta deliver every day. You got to get your scenes done, and you might not love your blocking and the way you're getting things done, but you got to get it done. And that's how TV is. But, if one is prepared, I think you can get through it. But with film, you never have enough time, you never have enough money, but you kind of, it's just a kind of a different world when you're making a film, and you can kind of, you find these pockets of extra time somehow when you're making a film. So it's a difficult question, the difference, but I would say time is the difference, I'd say.
Yeah, that's a great answer because I was watching something yesterday. Mike Birbiglia, a stand-up comedian, came out with a good one, a show about jokes. It's tight 46 minutes. But, I couldn't help thinking, this would be a great actually show. The structure would serve the show a lot better because you're right. It's all about time. You'd never have enough time. And I think with a show, sometimes with good one, I think it would have been better suited to a show. But that's beside the point. But yeah, I think that's a really great answer. And then secondly,
to jump in there, also with TV, when you're writing a film, you have, let's say you want it to be 90 minutes or 2 hours. Structuring it and working it is so different than when you make a TV show. I remember when I did my show, because I created it and I directed half the episodes. And I thought it was a riveting, very exciting show. And then I read a review and they said, what an interesting slow burn. And I was like, slow burn? I didn't really, because I was so in it that if I were to do it again, or what I learned with pacing and story is that when you watch these kind of, shows today, there's A story, B story, C story. And there is this constant kind of, you can always, cut across town. What's the other character doing? What's happening back at the apartment or whatever it is. And I think that has a lot to do with and helps you a lot with pacing. And with my film, it was very important to have the whole film be only Eva's point of view. And because it's a psychological horror film, and I really wanted to play with the perspective and where the audience is kind of put into this story. And so you have to be very precise in what you're showing and how you pace your film when you never have the chance to cut to another character or cut to somewhere else in the story. So that sometimes when you put these handcuffs on you, it can be very difficult. So I guess that also goes into the difference between film and TV. So multiple point of view.
Yeah, and you've got me keyed in on something. A lot of this movie is about the atmospheric setting. It's one place. I mean, you maybe go another place. I think the iceberg is the only other place you go. but you're mainly stuck in that same cottage or something like that.
Yeah.
So what was it like directing that? You're directing what 15 or so actors in this one space. So I'd just love your insights on what that process is like.
Well, the film, hopefully we can make the audience feel this claustrophobic feeling that the characters are going through. These people are snowed in for the winter. There's no escape. They can't get anywhere. And then, as you know, bad things start to happen to these characters. And for me, it was very important if I could somehow make the audience feel that these people are stuck, not only verbally for them talking about, oh my God, we can't get away, but also somehow through the cinematography, I feel that claustrophobia. So that was kind of what we were trying to do. So we were very specific in how we shot the interiors and how we shot the exteriors. And to somehow feel that it was, almost at the edge of the world, these people are stuck and no one can come and help them.
And you keyed in on another thing. You're making my job too easy here. The cinematography. What I noticed is instead of LED light boxes, which has become kind of a common practice when lighting something now, there's only natural light sources. So I'd love to hear how you worked with the cinematographer to kind of create that natural lighting and how you approach shooting that.
Yeah, that was part of kind of how we saw the film. Me and so Eli Aronsson, he's the cinematographer, brilliant guy. And from our research and our prep, we started to kind of see that the films he saw and the films I saw were brought to the table. Most of them were, lit by candlelight, or so suddenly we started to see the interiors in a certain way, and I would say 90% or more of the interiors that you see in the film are lit by candles, multiple candles, and the exteriors. Yeah, we really wanted to somehow, even though it's a genre piece, we wanted the audience to feel the reality of the situation. And by trying to use natural light as much as we can, obviously we couldn't always do it, but I would say most of the time, I feel like you can put the audience into the shoes of the character and the reality of the situation, even though it's a genre piece. So that was kind of trying to just put the audience somehow into the reality of the situation, which is these people have to light things with a candle, and once the light starts to go outside, you better get inside because you don't know what's in the dark.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to wrap up. So I want to thank you, Thordur, for taking the time to talk to me today. I know you've got a busy day. For those listening or watching at home, you can watch The Damned in theaters starting on January 3rd in the United States, with expansion to the UK, Ireland, and Iceland throughout January, if I'm not mistaken. But stay tuned for my review, along with a plethora of other reviews and coverage I have planned throughout the month of January. Thordur, thank you again for your time.
So nice to meet you, man. So nice. Thank you.
Thank you. If you enjoyed this interview and want to see more like this, consider becoming a patron to gain access to exclusive behind-the-scenes posts, project previews, 48-hour early access, and more. You can find a link to my Patreon page down below. Thank you for your support. Until next time.